What's up, guys? So, today I'm going to give 3 lessons I learned from speaking to a Vietnam veteran, uh, and we're going to cover dating and women, race relations, and trusting your neighbor. These were the 3 main takeaways I took from the conversation. There's a lot of other really good insights, especially about like how fucking Agent Orange, that shit'll fuck you up, man. So, stay away from that. Um, There's Agent Orange right here. Um, So let's just start out by talking about dating and women. I talked to him. I was very interested in that because, you know, nowadays all people talk about is how, oh, we need to go back to the 1950s and this and that, and people were so much better back then. And the truth is, bro, from what he told me, it kind of sounded well. Ah, no, yeah. So he basically did tell me it was different. I mean, back then, he was like, you date a girl and you weren't even expecting that. So a lot of that is due in part on the men, and it's also due on the women, right? He was like, there were a few exceptions with the women, but for the most part, from where he was from, it was um, it was mostly just kind of you were just happy to be with another person and like experience them and share experiences with another. And so really what I think is if we're unable to ever get that back, like fostering a true connection between man and woman, um, maybe we are going to be set in our ways. I will, I will kind of, you know, I will say this too. A lot of the red pill stuff is is true in terms of like actually attracting girls. Like a lot of that stuff is true, man. But I think that you can chalk it all up to really just be the best version of yourself possible, respect yourself, and trust your own decision making over another person's, and be a leader. Pretty simple stuff. I mean, like, I mean, even before I discovered that whole red pill thing, like, man, like, you just kind of know what girls are hoes and what girls kind of aren't. You can just kind of tell. And so if you haven't had that much experience, that's okay. Go out and get more experience. But just go into it knowing, okay, look, I need to be the best version of myself possible and do that truthfully. And don't allow people to walk all over you, man. Stand up for yourself. That's what a lot of it is, dude. It's just be able to stand up for yourself and live by the truth. Okay. But he did definitely kind of confirm the notion that it was different back then. You truly just wanted to experience life with someone else. But what I also noticed was interesting was he didn't. They didn't really like. So he told me a story, right? I asked him about when he went to war. When he went to war, um, it's this old saying is you get a Dear John letter, right? That's from your girlfriend back home or wife or whatever. You get, hey, you being gone, this isn't going to work out. Um, and, he told me he didn't go into war having a girlfriend. He had one at home, but he was like, look, I got to go to war now, and so this is over with. Um, and so the guy that was married and got a Dear John letter, I mean, he walked out to the front line and just shot himself in the head. Um, and that's just kind of it's a thing is like, man, I think no matter what, if you can remove yourself from the outcome dependence that a relationship's going to work or that this relationship is like the end all be all of your life, you're going to be much better off. Um, I mean, the guy had been married 3 times, He just, he had such a sense of himself that I thought was incredible. Of just, well, you can't do anything, you just gotta keep going, you know? There's nothing really to do. You can't, you can't dwell on it, and you can't expect everything to work. And I think that nowadays, one of the huge differences, right, is the technology. And so nowadays we're so used to just, be able to do this and it works, do this and it works. And so it creates this false sense of security that everything you do is going to work. And for me, removing that from my life has been very, very helpful, and I would recommend that to you. And so that's takeaway number one on dating and relationships is it was different back then. And there are some lessons that we could apply today. Like, if you're going to be in a relationship and you're going to seek out the relationship to truly experience another person. Don't let yourself get walked on. Because, they didn't do that back then, right? Like, people think that it's this lovey-dovey bullshit, but, like, no, it was the same back then. You just don't let someone walk all over you. And people had stronger senses of themselves. So build a strong sense of self. Don't be reliant on the other person. And truly, truly enjoy an experience. But you must do what you have to do in order for self-preservation. Okay, moving on. Race relations. Now, this one I found incredibly interesting because he was from the South, and he was like, it really wasn't what it's like today even. He was like, people just were people, and we were all equal, and we'd hang out with people of different race. We'd go on vacation with people of different race. They would come over to our house for sleepovers. We'd go over to theirs. And it was just normal. And I think that the big difference now, especially post-COVID, is they tried to drive such a big wedge between all of us. And I just don't think that that's right, man. Like, it's just not. It's just not right. People got so tribal, and during COVID, no one feels like they have a voice, so they do anything to find a voice, and it creates a net negative for society. And so, main takeaway from that was just that love people, man. Just love people, and truly, truly know that everyone is your equal. We are all ash to ash, dust to dust. We are nothing but dust. And if you think you're anything different, you are sorely mistaken, man. You are but an ant in this world, and to be honest, nothing you do will be of great significance at all. And so I'm not saying that as some sort of nihilistic way to tell you, like, fucking give up on your life, bro. Like, you just fucking give up. No, that's bullshit. Be better. Strive to be your best self. But just know that yourself is not going to somehow, like, okay, let me just take the example Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great conquered the known world. Then when you actually zoom out on a map of what he conquered versus the real world, it's insignificant. It's nothing. It's a blip. That's what I mean by it. Master yourself. Create great accomplishments. But don't do it thinking that you are going to be greater than the world. That's the point. Now, lastly, trust in your neighbor. This one I thought was incredible. He spoke that back then, people would just leave their doors unlocked. They'd leave their cars unlocked. They would pick up hitchhikers. They would do this and this and this. And people just genuinely kind of trusted in one another, and then if something happened, they would correct it. It wasn't correct it before something happens. It was, if something happens, you correct it. And I thought that was incredibly powerful. It shows that, people as a society lived with an honor and kind of a code. And there wasn't this malevolence against your neighbor to try and take from them. And to be honest, man, I don't really think that it's that prevalent today. I mean, you see a lot of stuff, but in my own experiences, man, like, I've hitchhiked. I've gone to all sorts of bad places, and you just gotta, like, bad people are gonna be bad people whether you're in a great area or a bad area. You just got to know what bad people look like and how bad people operate. It doesn't matter really where you are. And there truly is no security, man. Like, there's no security, bro. That's why security is such a crazy big industry. Um, Security cameras aren't going to prevent a robbery. I mean, they might be a deterrent, but if I really wanted to steal something, I'm just going to steal it. And so just accept that and don't live your life in some sort of fear of your neighbor. And right back to it, strengthen your sense of self. Find ways that you feel that you could defend yourself if something happened and be able to handle yourself. These were kind of the big takeaways, is people were much more self-reliant back then. And nowadays, we've kind of strayed from that, especially, because we've become so reliant on technology and so reliant on Amazon and everything just being at the push of a button. And I know that shit's so cliche, but it is so fucking true. This man lived an amazing life. If I have the opportunity, I'm going to call him again and try and get even more information. The wisdom he shared with me in a 30-minute phone call has helped me live my life and helped given me new insights, and I hope that by sharing that I might be able to do the same for you. Thank you, take care, and God bless. Be better.